Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more of the ASL qualifiers. This is the semifinals in Scan's bracket, and he is going up against none other than BishOp. BishOp, of course, a very strong player that finally did make his first ASL last season, but in a very tough group this time. Now, I've gotten a lot of mixed feedback over the speed of some of these games. Basically, some of the ASL replays, especially, I like to speed up a little bit. A little bit of that. Make it go a little faster. This is a long TvT, so I feel like it can be good to speed it up sometimes, do a little bit of a deeper analysis. But then I saw a lot of people also saying, oh, please slow it down. Regular speed, just cast the thing. And, I mean, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. I do like to occasionally do a more in-depth analysis during which it's like, you know, just kind of pausing and everything and figuring out exactly what's going on. And this particular TvT, definitely one I wanted to do it with. Anyways, let's take a look. We're on Vermeer, and it's a command center first from BishOp, which is going to be a very good choice because it is such a large map. But unfortunately for him, Scan, who looks to be going for a factory expansion build, is going to scout him first. In fact, he's going to scout him just as his factory is starting, which is absolutely perfect for Scan. Like, this is going to allow him to get very aggressive here if that's what he wants to do. So let's take a look. And he gets in. Stops mining gas, though. So it looks like Scan is probably just going to send a vulture down. Let's see, though. And look at that, a depot right next to the factory. So annoying to deal with if you do not get rid of it immediately. That would block the add-on from coming up, which is what BishOp was aiming for. But the Vulture comes out. There's already a Marine in here, and, I mean, he should be completely fine with 2 Marines already in. You're not going to get any damage done as Scan. And we'll have to see as his command center finishes exactly what that SCV differential is, because that's one of the big things that you're looking at here. Obviously, a lot more getting mined as well, as BishOp has more patches. Throws down a depot here to help that blocking. Very well done. And Scan's command center almost done now. Does have mines on the way, which has become a more popular way to play against command center first, or gases expand, that type of thing, right? Like, some of the one base all-ins, like, if you scout them first, you have a decent chance of it working, depending upon the map, of course. But it's been working, I would say, less and less. But we've seen, certainly from Light and now from Scan, some of these mine openers where you just lay mines to see where they're moving, and then kind of get into your own mech and just play from slightly behind. Which, that sounds kind of bad in a way, because it's like, well, yeah, your opponent's just ahead now, right? But they don't know exactly what you're doing. And, yeah, like, the fact that they don't know exactly what you're doing in TvT is just generally a long matchup. It gives you a lot of opportunities to try to fight back, whereas if you go for a one base all-in, it literally all gets decided immediately, and it feels like they have less than 50% kill rate at the moment. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this going with, oh, and the starport as well. So it is going to be a Vulture drop follow-up, possibly Cloaked Wraith as well. So, taking a look, it looks like Siege mode coming up very quickly. And the reason why we're seeing this from BishOp, like I mentioned, if you get scouted quickly here, it definitely can be Siege tanks coming up to your front. So getting the Siege is going to be very, very helpful. We have Academy and Armory coming up as well. Mines dropped all over the place in that path. These aren't necessarily mines to hit your opponent's units, but they will show you the path that they're walking along. Now, here comes the drop. 3 Vultures loaded up. BishOp trying to be ready for this. He drops off 1 Vulture just to pick off the Marine. And that makes it so that the dropship can fly around as much as it wants. But not really that much damage being dealt. Now, he gets 2 SCVs, and in fact is now up 2 SCVs. So, part of this, though, is the fact that comstats are being added, right? Because comstats cost about 4 SCVs. So, in a way, Scan has caught up. But if you look at production, Scan right now making Cloak, he's making Wraiths, and he has 1 factory. So, he actually is, like, yeah, he's slightly ahead as far as those SCVs go, But Bishop is going to field like a massively larger army. All right, dropship flying out. Speed that a little bit, looking for possible more damage. Tries to do another drop. Does not really work. I mean, those vultures don't have a lot of value right now anyways, so I kind of like what he's trying to do with that. A couple of wraiths out now. And let's see what the wraiths can actually get done. Bishop walks right through those mines, sieges up immediately. Now, the wraiths can help with spotting. Uses the cloak and already loses one since Bishop has gotten very quickly into that range upgrade. Now let's slow this down for a moment. Great tank positioning up here on the high ground. And, oh, it's actually not firing at all. So maybe not as great as I was thinking. As Bishop starts to push through some of these siege tanks. Scan sieges up behind as well. The barracks taking massive, massive damage here. You do have to be careful about that. If you lose it, you're not going to have any spotting. And Scan continues to siege up, running back. But Bishop with a lot of units here. You can really see the power of getting that production out so quickly with that command center first build. Scan, though, is up in workers just slightly. Bishop trying to push forward still. Dropship is out. Some more wraiths being made for factory here for Scan as he gets his third command center going. No third command for Bishop, so that's kind of a big difference there. A couple vultures actually deny that command center momentarily. But yeah, like, look, over here on Bishop's side, let's just pause it for a moment. If you take a look, right, he hasn't produced his SCVs non-stop, right? He's 4 down right now. 5 factories. He's going to get into +2 attack very, very quickly, which is a good play. Oh, God, I was going to say, like, I was actually kind of shocked that he didn't have it, but there it is right there. There's the third command, because it's like, I don't think that Scan did enough economic damage for him to not also have a third. Okay, so this makes a lot more sense now to me. Now, let's take an overarching look at this game. With the science facility coming up, +2 is going to be on the way for Bishop pretty quickly. He's got a very healthy line of siege tanks. This base does not look like one that Scan's going to be able to take, very likely, because Bishop's going to be mostly denying movement through this small choke. Now, Scan has his third base finishing up with good time. But it does feel like Bishop has a little bit more map control. He's going to have a little bit more production. His upgrades a little bit faster. Scan still has some good things going on, right? He has some mines down the side, so he's going to know if there's any units trying to run around the map or anything like that. That's very, very valuable. Let's take a look, though. Okay, that dropship gets picked off immediately. This is such a great position here for Bishop. Throwing down the missile turrets as well, really fortifying his position. Okay. Looks like a little bit of scuffling on the left side of the map. Bishop trying to take some space over there at the moment. It's a nice pick off there on one of the tanks. 2-1 on the way here for Bishop now, so really staying ahead on those upgrades a little bit. Scan definitely wants to catch up. His science facility finishes up, starts his +2, gets a second armory as well, so he's only going to be a little bit behind on that, so that's not too bad. Bishop expanding towards the left of the map, and I don't mean expanding as in command centers, I mean expanding as in his siege tank line, which is actually one of the most powerful things to do in Terran vs. Terran. If you can cut across big swaths of area and save yourself positions that you can move into, that is incredibly powerful. Now look how he doesn't overcommit. Like right here, Bishop could have tried to move up onto this high ground because it is more powerful. Instead, he's saying, screw it, you have 2 platforms, I have 2 platforms. Because look at this, right? I'm zooming out pretty much as I can here. And you can see how Bishop is cutting the map. If he can cut into this, that's good. Okay, in a really big TvT. Now, this map is so big, it may not come to this, but there is a certain amount of pressure that you're putting on if you deny one more base to your opponent, right? So like I talked about before, this base is mostly denied. This is like a third base location to the top right. This is that same location to the bottom left. So if he denies both those and he has his own, that is like 2 bases Scan doesn't get, and like Bishop can probably take this one, then no one can probably take this one. So that would be just +1 base for Bishop. So that's like, this is a very smart long-term play to just cut across here and not overextend. If he goes up here, overextends, loses this area, and Scan can come down here. Like, this area in general is very, very important because the bottom left of the map hasn't really been claimed yet. A lot of tanks and vultures unsieging here for Scan as he pushes forward. And gets rid of a lot of the contain there from Bishop. Bishop going to move to this high ground now. And now Scan, having taken over this powerful area, can finally take the space that we've been talking quite a bit about. Scan with a lot of units here on the side as well. And now you can see that Bishop is being pushed in a little bit. He still has enough area on this side, but actually drops on top of Scan's siege tank contain. Does not quite clear it, though. And that's an issue. You can see the supply really reflecting this now. Scan up 8 SCVs and starting to get up as far as the actual supply overall. He's taken both these command centers. And you see that Bishop is starting to get into that, but a little bit slower, unfortunately. Right, a lot of SCVs being transferred over. We have 4 factories with add-ons, 3 without here. 5 with, 3 without for Scan. So his siege tank production going to be a little bit higher. Lots of Goliaths being added in now as well. Really, the siege tank, though, is the key. And despite the fact he has 1 more add-on, you see Scan still with a lot of gas bank as he's taken all of his gases so far. A ton of missile turrets going up for Bishop. A lot going up for Scan over here as well. And it seems like there's a little bit of jockeying right now where they're trying to take just a little bit more of the map, either player. The center is quite a no man's land at the moment. We have this big line where no one can really enter. But here we go. Scan going to try to break this ramp. If he can get up there, it is gigantic. Like 3-2 upgrades versus 3-2 upgrades. And now, oh my god, he's going to go for it. He's going for a massive drop into the main base. And Scan actually cleans that up so quickly. And you know what? That is something that we see a lot in high-level TvT. Eventually, you both get a lot of drop ships, and one player is going to try to drop, and the other one tries to counter-drop. Because if you have basically the same amount of drop ships and someone flies over turrets or something like that that you just saw, right? The other player can just fly up with their drop ships, counter-drop, and clean it up. And generally, the player cleaning up will have the advantage there. You know, it's going to be in their base, in their terrain, so there's going to be other stuff there helping to fight and everything. And, like, for instance, you saw how far he had to fly. Scan can drop a little bit closer to where his dropships were and maybe siege up first, things like that. All right. So now a lot of dropships have been lost. You know, Bishop is behind, but he's not dead. He's adding a lot of starports right now. Scan getting ready to try to drop once again on top of this army. Brings up so many siege tanks. It's actually insane. Bishop is going to lose this base, and that's pretty painful because now these turrets can start to get pushed as well, which may allow for Scan to utilize his dropships to shut down the starport production. If he gets on top of the starport production, the game is most likely just going to end. Because Scan has such a gigantic economy. He's getting his own starports as well. Very standard, normal stuff that you're seeing. The other main bases being just peppered down with those starports to switch into battle cruisers. See that? Scanning, sieging up the missile turrets some. Oh, a very powerful location Scan finds right here. That was really nice. He was getting ready to try to go up here, and so Bishop let out a few units. He still has a few turrets in here, but then for Scan to take a spot like this, what this will allow is for Scan to attack by ground as well. He doesn't have to go in with dropships. He can go down here and eliminate this space as well. And Bishop's economy is starting to dry up. As you can see, they both have banks. They both have a lot of supply still and everything. But look at this. 1,500 against 7K. 3K against 5.5K. And this makes a big difference in TvT. TvT is the longest matchup in the game by a good margin. And, you know, a lot of times it does come down to these big banks where it's like, well, I can build more BC fleets than you. Bishop does have some BCs out, and he will actually start to be able to push things back with them. You know, Goliaths, obviously, with these great upgrades, can fight against BCs a little bit, but as that number grows, obviously, you're going to be able to roll through. Scan moving into the center. He's starting to take over large areas of the map as the BCs are coming in. Gonna re-pick off those siege tanks. Go towards the main. Oh my god, there was actually not much defense down here, which isn't surprising because it's so deep into the actual area of Bishop. Most of the dropships actually end up getting out as well. Doesn't get that much damage, to be honest. A couple depots, and that's about it, but he was gonna lose those anyways. And both sides maxed out now. Scan adding a lot of missile turrets. Having to utilize a lot of Goliaths here as well. Bishop is starting to get more cost efficient than Scan. That is for certain. You can see those BCs getting out just a little bit quicker have helped him immensely. Now he's killing off a base of Scan. Moving up to the top left. Now BCs of Scan join the fray. 2-2 upgrades on both sides. And Bishop just has a few more. He started them earlier, but Scan's a little bit higher health. A little bit closer to his rally. Will get him to push those away for Bishop, who has pulled some back for repair and continuing to build more. Now Scan, another big attack coming down. Dude, this is such a messy game that we're looking at right now. Scan with a ton of BCs. A lot of Goliath tank coming in as well. Not waiting for the BCs. Instead, choosing to lose extra units to gain ground a little bit more quickly. And Bishop definitely is on the defense now. He does not have that much, and he is getting picked apart absolutely everywhere. The BC's flying here, kill a couple tanks, back up. Oh, here come the tank Goliath BC. Not much here to hold on against this. Bishop coming up with his own BCs, but it should not end up being enough. Scan just marching forward. And now that he's getting up into this main base, like, this is becoming almost completely hopeless at this point. Now, the thing is, there is still some hope. There is still some hope. BCs truly are the ultimate in this matchup. So realistically, you lose these bases that you already mined out, and you're losing like a lot of your production. But the factories don't matter as much as long as you have enough siege tanks. What really matters is the overall BC count, and then having just enough siege tanks that your opponent can't run you over with Goliaths, right? So, yeah, Bishop still has shots here. Scan, by the way, has thrown out a lot of his SCVs. Some of them have died, of course, as well. And that's kind of a common thing as well. Very high-level TvT. A lot of times you want to actually clear some SCVs to get that killing composition of just much more supply. Look at the amount of BCs on both sides. It's absolute madness. Okay, so Scan going to clear another base here. He has a good amount of Goliaths, so it's a little bit hard to attack. There's actually no siege tanks here. That's the really, really, really big problem. The BCs come out and clear that as well. I can't see any way that you are going to be able to actually win this as Bishop. Look at this. Scan has dropped down to 11 SCVs at this point. Look at his army. Mass Goliath, 3 Vessel. And to be honest, this is not like as normal. If your opponent has fully functioning like the whole bottom of the map and you have fully functioning the whole top of the map, normally it won't turn into exactly this. Like, you'll generally end up mining the map out a little bit more. But he doesn't even need siege tanks now. He's killed off the factories. There's like literally no siege tanks here for Bishop. So let's see if we can kind of count. There's 11. Oh my god. There's 23, 26 BCs, let's say. Okay, there's 10, 16, 20. So 3 more BCs on this side. He's got 1 vessel against the 3 vessel. Yeah, a lot more defense matrix plus these Goliaths worth way more. So this is going to be absolutely it. Like, there is no way to hold on at this point. Yeah, trying for some EMPs and everything right there as well. Throwing down the Amatos as he can. But definitely going to be the end here for Bishop, unfortunately. And GG. That is going to be game number 1, going to Scant.